Mizzle coming back again with another video. And of course, today is Monday. Gil Clash is over. Rewards have been collected. And guys, I'm sorry I totally forgot to make a screenshot of the rewards that we received from Gil Clash. But just to show you, we did come in first place again for Gil Clash. We actually had some opponents that were at our level, and of course, we got all the awesome rewards. But anyway, enough about that. This is something a little bit different than what I normally do. I want to try to. This is actually to kind of help some people out. Hopefully everyone, okay. And actually, also this is to basically kind of. I'm sure this will start a lot of conversation as far as comments because I'm sure people have their own opinions. But this is going to be. I want to do my top 10 heroes, okay. And I'm going to start at number one and go to number 10. Again, this is going to be my top 10 heroes. I'm going to start at the number one hero and I'm going to go up to number 10. And this is my opinion only. This is not the all knowing, the number one guaranteed. It's 100%. This is not that list, okay? But for T Mizzle, this is what I say are my top 10. And of course, when I go down over my list, it's going to be one or two that you can mix, you can kind of change some around if you want, and that's fine. I don't really care, but again, it's just my opinion. And the reason I want to do it is because I actually get a lot of questions. People want to know like who should they work on next, heroes and stuff like that. And I'm sure all of us have those questions. I mean, if you have a lot of different heroes, you probably want to know who you should work on. So the point of this video is actually is really just to kind of start some conversation in the community. And of course there's going to be some debates and all that, but anyway, we're going to jump into this and I'm going to kind of give you a reason why I think the reason I pick the heroes that I pick. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So let's start off my number one hero, and I pick him as number one because I think that you have to have this hero to be successful in this game. And when I say that, I'm talking about as a new player coming in, working your way up. This hero here you want to have on your team over any hero there is. Pounder. Okay, this is going to be your tank, the best tank in the game. With his divine skill, of course, makes him even better. Blood cap, where he actually heals himself and lasts a lot longer. Hands down, I think I'm gonna go on the record and say this got to be the number one hero. Okay, just for the fact that he is the best tank so far. Of course, we just got Landslide, and I'm gonna omit Landslide only because he's so new. It's hard to say. I haven't seen a lot of high level landslides at like divine level 2 or 3, and there may be some out there, but right now I'm still gonna go with Pounder as the number one tank in the game. And of course, everybody know you always need a good tank to make it high level. Okay, that's why I'm saying you have to have him to make it a high level. So number one guy, tank, bam, Pounder. Okay, my number two hero, and some of you probably can guess, I picked Pangoli. And I will tell you the reason why I picked Pan, because the number two spot is actually very controversial in my opinion, but I'm going to tell you why I picked Pan. First of all, if you get Pan, he's going to be the most OP hero as far as damage. He has the most damage to a hero in the game. Okay, that's what I mean, to a hero. His retina balls are deadly, and everybody knows that. If you do any rating or any Lords League, you know that if there's a Pan there, you must kill him first, because if you don't, most likely you will fail on that raid. So, and also, the reason I picked up number two, not only that, but he's also one of the probably the best. I would go on the record and say the best aid for every freaking hero because of his ability to increase the attack rate near death. So basically, it gives your hero a little bit extra life right before they die. Okay, and I think that's the best aid in game, so that's why I chose him as number two. Okay, number three, my number three pick is going to be Renee Vin. Okay, and I'm sure people are going to have something to say about this, but the reason I picked Renee is because if you, like I said, this is as an upcoming player in the game trying to get better and trying to make high ranks, you're gonna Renee Van is always on everybody's team. Okay, and the reason being she can resurrect one player, if one hero, if they die. Okay, just that reason alone gives her the number 3 spot. If Pounder dies, she can bring him back and allow Pounder to keep tanking. If Pangoli dies, Renee can bring him back to allow Pangoli to keep doing damage. So that alone makes me say that she's the number 3 after Pounder and Pangoli. And not only that, one other thing, as an upcoming player, you may decide to go with a sharpshooter strategy. You know, some people are have tried it. She has the best sharpshooter strategy aid in the game. Um, so I would definitely give it a number 3. Okay, that's me. And if you get her divine to divine level 3, not only does she bring back, but this is what she does. If you get her to divine level 3, okay, she revives 100% of all the dead mercenaries for 20 seconds. She revived mercenaries. The revived mercenaries will have full HP and damage dealt to them reduced by 8%. And she also recovers a divine skill for one of your heroes, meaning that you can use Pounder's Divine 2 times. You can use Abyss's Divine 2 times. You can use Pangola's Divine 2 times. Dark Rider Divines 2 times. That is straight beast mode. Matter of fact, that might be one of the best divines in the game at level 3 that I can see, because of that two divine. I mean, that allows you to do the divine skill another time, man. That's incredible. So anyway, and one other thing about Renee Van's divine skills, they don't take as many resources as some of the others, so it's very easy to reach her divine as well. Okay, so that's my number 3 pick. Sorry it took me so long to go over that one, but that was kind of a lot of stuff to say about Renee. And number 4 position, which is one of the newer heroes, I'm going to put Great Sage at number 4. Okay, the reason being number 4 is because if you get Great Sage, you absolutely must level him up ASAP and get his divine skill. Okay, his skill alone is great. He basically blocks the enemies out, locks them out of their using their skills for a number of seconds. Okay, I don't want to say how many because it changes at different skill levels. Okay, at 2020 he blocks them out 2 heroes, enemy heroes, for 16 seconds. He blocks them out. They can't use their skill. And if you get his divine, which is freaking awesome, his divine locks them out 5 seconds. Not 5 seconds, but all targets in range. All targets in range. So in arena, this skill here rules arena in my opinion. Okay, and once I got this guy in arena, I could take on opponents much higher, because that 6 seconds while they can't do their skills, I'm killing them. I'm just crushing them. Okay, so you got to think about that. 6 seconds on his divine to block out the lockout skills, and then 16 seconds for 2 of them on the regular skill. Okay, that's incredible. And I'll tell you right now, guys, if you get Great Sage, it's not a question of do you level him up or do you get his divine. Get his divine ASAP. But actually, besides Pounder's divine, Great Sage's divine is, to me, is the most important in the game. Okay, I don't have Dark Rider, but I know his is very important. But for an upcoming player, somebody trying to reach high levels in arena, trying to reach high levels in pretty much anything, Great Sage will allow you to lock skills of the enemies and do damage and pretty much win lots of battles. So again, Great Sage is my number 4 choice, and a great choice. This guy could have easily been moved up higher, but I'm going to stick with my rankings as I've gotten them so far. Okay, number 5. Now this one is number 5 is actually it's going to be 5 and 6. Okay, 5 and 6 I chose Arctic Lord and Dark Rider. Okay, and the reason I put them 5 and 6 because I put them together because you can switch those around if you want. Dark Rider or Arctic Lord. Okay, I don't care which one you put, 5 or 6, don't really matter. And the reason being is, to me, either one of those can be your second tank. Okay, for arena, for raiding, and the reason I chose those 2 now is because of defense. They both have awesome defense. So and if you look at any top base, you're going to see Dark Rider, or you're going to see Arctic Lord, or you'll see both. Okay, you must have one of those on defense. And again, another thing, with Dark Rider, of course, he absorbs the damage, and Arctic Lord for defense, he actually reduces damage. Okay. Another thing about Arctic Lore, he is a great hero aid, one of the best for defense. Okay. If you use him as a hero aid on defense, he actually, and let me go to show you this right here, why his aid is awesome on defense. Because let's say Pangoli, if you have an Arctic Lord as an aid for Pangoli, you know how once you attack, if that Pangoli goes back to the base, he recovers his healing. Okay, I mean, excuse me, his health. He recovers health if he goes back to the base. So anytime you see a Pangola with an Arctic Lord aid, be worried on a raid, because if he goes back to that base, he's going to get health back. Okay, and nobody wants Pangola to get his health back. So a lot of you guys have seen that, and a lot of you know how to tell when that Arctic Lord is on aid. If you see that, be scared, because that's a bad, bad, bad situation. You do not want that Arctic Lord aid on a Pangola, because that would definitely allow him to go back and heal himself. And of course, as you can see, it reduces damage by 70% for 13 seconds. Okay, so that was my number 5 and 6, and like I said, those two are kind of interchangeable. You can go whichever way you want. Next on my list, for obvious reason, is Abyss Demon. Okay, and he is kind of far down, I know, but the truth is, you don't necessarily have to have him if you have the right heroes. Okay, you can make it through without healing. The reason I did choose him for the number 7. The reason I chose him for the number 7 pick is because of his awesome healing power. Okay, when you have Abyss Damon on your team, and he has max A skill, Blockade, of course, that is, along with high level aids, and he is high level himself and maxed out skill, he's going to do an insane amount of healing, which makes it very hard to kill the enemy team. Okay, I've battled teams where every time he heals, it's like 10k plus healing to his heroes. So, and that for that reason alone, I chose him as my number 7 pick, because anytime I face an opponent in arena, if they have an abyss, that's the only way. Usually, if they have an abyss demon in great stage, they will beat me. Okay, and you guys have seen it. I've been beaten. I'm talking about right now. When the higher level you get, you'll start seeing abyss demon because of the healing. Okay, so you want to use him. And also another thing about abyss is now with Gil Clash, even though he doesn't do a lot of damage, I noticed that I can stay alive the whole battle in Gil Clash. Okay, the only trouble I have now is time running out, but my heroes did not die because of the healing from Abyss Demon. So if you have high damage heroes with Abyss Demon and Gil Clash, you can do an insane amount of damage without your heroes dying. So I recommend you guys get Abyss Demon as your healer if you can. The only trouble is he's very hard to roll, so you may not be able to get him easy and get him to high level. But if you can, number 7, or you can very much count him as the best healer in game. Okay, so let's keep moving and we'll make this too long. Number 8 on my list, and this is going to be very controversial, I'm sure. I chose Safrix. Okay, and the reason I chose Safrix is for Gil Clash. Okay, Gil Clash Safrix is one of the best damage dealers in Gil Clash because of his area effect damage and how fast his cooldown is, like 2 seconds. So you can continually spam his ability, and if you max him out, you can spam it pretty much non-stop through the whole thing. I mean, every couple of seconds, as long as you have the rage. So again, I'm going to put him as number 8 on the list, and the reason he's so far down is because you don't technically need him, but when you look at all the rest of the heroes, for Gil Clash, he is one of the best. Actually gets a bonus for Battle Royale, which I don't personally use him for that. He's probably very good in that too, and I haven't tested that because I have my own strategy for Battle Royale. But for number 8, Safrix does the best damage in Gil Clash that I can see, as far as the heroes that I have. Okay, my number 9 choice, and this is why I think that number 8 choice was a little bit controversial, because I put Kieran, who is, of course, you guys know, a sharpshooter and a very, very beastie hero, which is I put him very low down. And the only reason I put him so far down in my list, guys, is because unless I'm doing my sharpshooter strategy now with the rest of my heroes, I don't even need him. I use him as an aid most of the time now, except when I use the sharpshooter strategy in Battle Royale. Okay, and that's just the bottom line. He is a great hero. His clones make it very easy to throw Pangoli off his game. and of course his skill increases sharpshooter. So if you're using sharpshooters, you definitely want to use them. However, if you're not using sharpshooters, Kieran is one of those characters your heroes you do not have to use. And of course, that depends on who you actually have on your roster. Okay, that depends on who you have on your roster. Okay, so again, I put him as number 9, and my number 10 choice, which I put Blockhead as number 10. Okay, now I could have easily threw in Demon Slayer, but the simple fact is I don't have Demon Slayer. I haven't used him, so I don't technically. I couldn't rank him. Okay, I haven't used him, and that's the one hero that I need to hurry him get leveled up, but I haven't used this guy, so I put Blockhead as my number 10 choice, and the reason I did that is because of his aid skill ability. If you have Abyss Demon, which is the best healer, you want to have Blockhead as his aid, and you want to max him out, because if you do that, you're going to get a 40% attack rate for your Abyss Demon if you use Blockhead as aid. And I say Abyss Demon, but you can use a Blockhead aid for anybody. Imagine putting him on Pangoli. Attack rate 40%. That means Pangoli's attacking faster? Seriously? Dude, come on now. Holla. So, I mean, you can put him on anybody and speed up their attack rate. I mean, that's an awesome, awesome aid as well. So I put him as my number 10 choice. Of course, you can pick whoever you want, but with the heroes I have, and as you can see here, I have pretty much all of them. Okay, I have all of them. I have not used Demon Slayer, and I'm sorry to say that. Demon Slayer is one I haven't used. Maybe one day, when things change, my rankings may change, but this list is my personal list. Again, I'm not saying this is the end all be all list, but this is my opinion and what I think on the heroes. And what I'm really looking for here is I want to hear what you think as far as your choices. And if you choose something different, that's cool. Just let me know. Okay, just let me know why. I love hearing those comments and seeing what people say. But what I want to say really about this list, okay, those players who are starting the game, who are just having trouble time deciding who to use and who to level up, because it is hard when you get multiple heroes, who to spend those rings and souls on. Okay, just remember this: use this list, go down the list, and look who's higher ranked, and based on what kind of team you have. Okay, and I say that because my top 5 are pretty much, if you have those, work on them. Okay, Pounder must be, you need Pounder's Divine. That's a guaranteed Divine. You need to work on Pounder automatically. Okay, Pangoli, you don't really need his Divine, but you need him, and you need to rank him up so his rage is low. You want to use his rage, you want to get his rage down to 1 as quickly as possible. Okay, that's what you want to do. Renee Vin, you don't have to get her Divine. Her Divine is cool in the end, but you can skip her Divine altogether until end game. Okay, I can tell you that right now. Okay, but if you get these heroes, try to work in them, try to work on every one of those guys over anybody else, and we'll do something on divines later. I don't really want to get into what the divines you need, which ones you can skip, even though I kind of just went over some of them, which kind of sucked, but the video is almost 20 minutes long and I don't want to keep talking, so we'll do a divine video later. I think somebody may have already done one. I'm gonna look around and find one. Make sure I don't kind of mock what somebody else has done, but I want to stop talking now because I've been talking way too much. Basically, I'm gonna end this video by hit me up with your what you think, your opinion. Okay, tell me what you think about my top 10. And I'm sorry it took so long, but I just want to make sure I cover that, especially for the people who are just starting the game, maybe who want to know, like, when you get a certain hero, how they rank and all that. Okay, and again, this list can be heroes can be changed around and changed up and all that. But anyway, make sure you hit me up. Let me know what video you want to see, if it's another hero you want to know about, or anything like that. Maybe a strategy or something. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. Okay, that's it for this video. This is your boy T Mizzle. I'm out. Peace.